Again, I'm from there. But okay, as you said, okay. Yeah. Anyway, so as I was saying, the idea is that everyday people are never asked, shall we wage a war? Unfortunately, we're the ones paying it. And this is something that I want to show you today to actually understand how you are paying for all these wars. Even if you're not exactly from the state that is actually waging the war. Now, we have 3 topics that we need to cover, which means, first of all, we need to explain why, let's say, Bitcoin itself is prepared and it has all the quality it needs to be a world economic system, a world economic, let's say, net, right? So it is definitely prepared to actually take over the whole financial system of the world. So this is the first thing that we need to cover, and then we're going to go to the point that not only that is indestructible, the countries themselves, if we actually go to the point to use Bitcoin, will literally become nothing else than minor administration in a system. But we're gonna go, slowly, step by step, and we're gonna get there. First, we need to see why is Bitcoin itself so secure, so good to be actually used as a, let's say, economical system of the world. So, as you know, we need to find a system that cannot be corrupt, that cannot be silenced, that cannot be reversed, etc., etc. So we need to find something that is actually, first of all, unstoppable in the case of it cannot be attacked in any way, right? So, you've heard for sure for quantum computers. And unfortunately, usually they use this as a clickbait. Soon the quantum computers will be able to, attack Bitcoin, shut Bitcoin down, etc., etc. So let's see actually, is this true? Now, as you can see here, I'm actually doing like a collage so you can see several important, let's say, informations, which are, as I managed to find, the last up-to-date informations on this subject. So as you can see, this is the Willow chip coming from one of the best producers of chips and practically in this case, computing power, which has a total amount of power of 105 qubits of processing computing power. And you need 13 million qubits to be able to try to attack Bitcoin. So, all these 10 biggest producers of chips for computing power, and all their chips together, this line here is the maximum they have managed to accumulate together until 2023. And this is how much you need to be able to attack Bitcoin. So we're talking thousands and thousands times more computing power needed to be able to attack Bitcoin. Now, I'm not going to go into details because, first of all, myself, I don't understand all the details as well, let's be honest. But what you need to know, even the newest chip that they just discovered, from my understanding, Microsoft, right? It came to 1 million qubits, etc., etc. One thing we need to remember. Algorand is the first blockchain in the world that has quantum computing protection. So, in this case, if an altcoin as Algorand with a small, let's say, market cap as Algorand is, managed to develop a protection from quantum computing, can you imagine what they're gonna do when something like this comes close to practically maybe attacking the network itself of Bitcoin, right? So for sure, there is countless of, in this case, developers that are working pro bono for Bitcoin that will definitely go to the point to find an actual protection from quantum computing. So, worst case scenario, let's not forget that this here is the strongest network of computing power in the world. Without a doubt. Nothing comes even close to that. The Bitcoin network, with all the processing power that it has, is without a doubt, the most secure, the biggest network of computing power in the world. So for now, this is definition of safety when we're talking digital. Nothing comes even close to that. So in this case, obviously, there are, I would say, decades from even coming close to attacking Bitcoin. Let's not forget that in the same time as they are advancing quantum computing, obviously the developers of Bitcoin and everybody in this, let's say, Bitcoin story is also developing the code, in this case, what they can change of the code for Bitcoin as well. So, as I was saying, if Algorand can do it, Bitcoin can do it for sure. Now, second thing that we need to answer, can it be banned? Can it be shut down, right? Because this is one of the things that, unfortunately, most of the people still don't understand. It is impossible. Now, I would take this small part here, this square, which is actually what you are going to get from Google if you ask him, how can you shut down Bitcoin? So anybody can check this. These are all, as I was saying, very easy to find. These are articles from newspapers. These are practically informations that are available to the public. So this is the answer that Google gives. Any attempts to ban or regulate Bitcoin out of existence are improbable to succeed. Now, why? It says Bitcoin itself is decentralized. Any attempts to shut down Bitcoin would mean all the governments worldwide would have to collaborate to shut down the internet at the same time. 29th of May, 2024. So this is quite fresh, right? Now, I would say something like this. If you manage, first of all, to put all the governments in one place, somehow, let's say, all the stars in the world are aligned and you manage to get all the governments under one roof, they cannot agree on what is the color of the sky, not to decide to ban, imagine, to shut down all the internet of the world. That is like a, not even plausible, right? I think that the quantum computing has a bigger chance. Now, aside from that, even if you shut everything down, let's say some lunacy happens and they decide, you know what, we're going to shut the whole internet from the whole world, every country in the same time. There is this magical thing called satellites. And now there is a special company that has currently 5 satellites coordinating the blockchain network of Bitcoin. So all these nodes around the world, most of them, have a very simple way of connecting. This is like a small technology you need to just add to your actual mining equipment. And you are connected to these satellites. These currently 5 satellites cover the whole world, one to the other side, which means even if there is no internet, at some point during the day, when this satellite practically passes over where you live, your miner, your node will practically synchronize with all the other nodes, and automatically the network goes on. So even this is not even plausible. There is no chance that it's going to happen. Now, in the same time, let's not forget that SUI made a very interesting discovery. They stopped using internet. They said, you know what? Aside from the fact that you can, let's say, synchronize our blockchain through internet, we're going to do this through mobile network. So SUI blockchain right now, you can actually send from one to another wallet with an actual phone SMS message, believe it or not. So we're talking, all these blockchains are adapting. They're trying to be more secure. And first of all, from who? From the people that actually have potential to even try something against them. Let's take China, for example. In the previous bull markets, 2017, 2021, we had a definition. It's not a bull market until China tries to ban Bitcoin. So whoever was part of these bull markets, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So when you see that China did something to ban, prevent, or whatever, Bitcoin or something else, then you know, okay, guys, don't worry, we're in a bull market, literally. So what happened last time when China did something like this? You see this blip? China is one of the biggest powerhouses, you name it, economy, military, science, technology. These guys really know what they're doing, right? They're practically the engine of the world. And this engine of the world, I would say something as stupid as they are, but it's true, had at one point 70% of the hash power of Bitcoin under their roof. The stupidity of this country allowed themselves to actually ban Bitcoin, not only Bitcoin, the mining operations of Bitcoin as well. So around 70% of this hash power, so I'm talking 70% out of the 70%, had to move out of China. So they went to Kazakhstan, then America took the biggest share. They actually told them, you know what, guys, come, we're going to give you everything you need. We're going to give you discount on electricity. We're going to give you place where to build your farm, no problem. So practically somebody was actually thinking smart until Genocide Joe came. So anyway, you know the story then. The idea is, this blip here is the, let's say, exodus of the miners of China. So in that moment, we actually had this middle of the summer crash in 2021. So practically what happened, we had an enormous amount of people moving with equipment to different countries where practically they could continue working. And what happened? Few months later, you know that meme, few moments later? Here we go. Just a blip. So if the biggest country in the world regarding economy, science, technology could not do it, guess what? Nobody can. And let's not forget, in the same time, 2021, 2022, there was this G7 summit in India. The biggest, the most important minds in the world, because you know how? They are deciding our fate. Unfortunately, that's how it works in the world. They were sitting down and talking, how can we ban this thing? Can we take it out of existence? Can we do something? Guess what? They didn't find a way to do it. That's why today we have conversations like, who is the next country to make a Bitcoin reserve, right? So this is where this is going. So you can imagine, if the biggest ones didn't manage to do it, that's it, game over. We won. Just the idea is how this is going to progress onwards. Now, one of the most feared, let's say, vulnerabilities of Bitcoin is the 51% attack, which means that in this network of nodes, if you manage to somehow control 51% of the nodes, you will practically get control over the blockchain. So you can change it. In a matter of fact, you can do whatever you want. It's practically yours. Now, on the left side over here, these are the biggest pools of miners that exist in the world. And this is the last picture that I took from this, let's say, position around 5 days ago. So more or less it's quite fresh. So we can see that there is actual big, let's say, players in the world, which actually have around 21% of the total computing, although known as hash power in Bitcoin. Now, where is the problem? This is not a company. This is not one entity. This is group of companies and individuals which lend their hash rate, their hash power to this pool, so they have a bigger chance of actually mining the next block, writing the next block. Which means, this here, we have a situation where the grid itself is the biggest defender of Bitcoin. Why? Biggest entities will not allow their years invested in this industry to be destroyed together with the global confidence in Bitcoin by trying to perform a 51% attack. Why am I saying this? Let's say these guys, you know what, sit down and say, let's try. Let's take it over, right? What you gonna achieve? The confidence that you have built over the last 15 years, you're gonna lose, that's it. Countries will not feel, not even close to feel confident to actually invest or moreover use Bitcoin as a reserve, right? Which means the grid itself will not allow these people to actually try to do this. We're talking about the people that are currently in the market, which are the biggest entities that can actually try to do this. The grid is always one of the best keepers of wealth. Now, there is a second way to do it, and this is the outside way. So we're talking about inside, about the existing miners, right, which can, let's say, organize. And there is a second way, which is from outside, which means, let's say there is an entity like BlackRock, my favorite, which actually has the money. These guys have officially, after January, have 11.5 trillion under management. We're talking, BlackRock has more money than, except for the top 4 economies in the world, they have bigger amount of money than all the countries combined. Not combined, but in this case, practically any of these large economies. So in this case, just for you to understand, BlackRock officially has more money than Japan. Just for you to understand how big of an entity we're talking about, right? So let's say BlackRock says, you know what? I have the money. I'm going to try 51% attack. Let's see if it's going to work. Now, this is an article from February 2024. And somebody actually sat down and said, you know what? Let me do the math. Let's see how it's going to look like. So in this case, in February 2024, the last mining rig, or in this case, Bitmain S21, this is the last model, the best model with the most hash power, etc., etc. These are the machines that actually help you to solve the actual algorithm, to solve the puzzle, to get the block, practically to write the block down and get the Bitcoin reward. Now, one of these Bitmain S21 in December 2023 was costing around $2,240. This is when this was practically written. So they did the accumulations, actually calculations, by practically this price, which was in December 2023. The problem is that currently we're in a bull market. So then it was 2,240. But now, 5 days ago, this machine costs $15,350. which means it costs 7 times more than in the practically bear market when this was written down. So where is the problem here? Even if you have the money, at that time, the basic mathematics shows you that you need to have around $5 billion to be able to buy the amount of machines to attack Bitcoin. So you say to yourself, okay, these guys have 11.5 trillion. It's going to be very easy. 5 billion is like a pocket change, right? Like Larry Fink gets up from the bed and it falls from the pocket. You know, this is how much it is for him. Now, the problem is, first of all, you will need 2.5 million machines, which means there is no capacity in the world that can instantly do for you 2.5 million machines, which means it's going to take years of actual production of this model for you to be able to have enough machines to try 51% attack. And this is considering everybody else stopped buying machines. So nobody, right? Nobody, all these big, let's say, mining companies, they stopped buying machines, which is science fiction, right? And let's not forget, there is only like several capacities that actually produce these kind of models, which means even now, there are practically years ahead sold machines. So you practically buy the production from now until next year because you have the money, you buy the models, and practically this, let's say, entity is producing only for you. So how are you planning to buy 22.5 million machines when this is already bought? And let's not forget, everybody is competing. More machines, better machines, as much as you can get, right? Because this is the new gold. It's not do we want it or not. This is the reality. And we can see it every day, right? So, aside from the fact that even like this, you cannot get it, let's not forget that less machines on the market, guess what happens? This is not going to be 15,000. It's going to be 30, 50, 70,000. Why? Because there is none. Because they already bought the whole production. And now if you want to buy it, guess what? Somebody will sell it to you, but for a lot higher price. So if you are trying to accumulate this much machines, guess what? You will practically compete against yourself. More you buy, less machines on the market. Less machines on the market, the price will be rising rapidly, which means you are not able to buy these things. 2.5 million machines is science fiction. Even if they exist, you are going to end up giving a lot of money and you're not going to achieve it. Now, so we practically covered the biggest 3 problems that can happen to Bitcoin. And let's see the, let's say, result of all this that we've been talking until now. So why is it so important? 2000, let's say 13, 14, when all this started, for the big players, this was like some kids are sitting in a basement. I know I've said this a lot, but I'm going to say it again because it's very important. All these big wolves of Wall Street, you know, these important people, they were saying some kids, you know, internet money, whatever, sitting home, internet magic money, how they call it, right? They're playing something, whatever, you know, they think that they invented something. Now we came to 2017. This was the first time that we got the futures Bitcoin ETF. They were still like, whatever. Larry Fink first, Larry Fink 2018 or 19, in an interview. This is just an index of money laundering. He says, more one country has a Bitcoin or uses Bitcoin, definitely there is bigger amount of money laundering. Let's not forget that they were even preaching Bitcoin is only for money laundering. Bitcoin is only used for hackers, etc., etc. Even now, when you compare, only 0.1% of like all the transactions in the year have been actually hacker attacks or some kind of a criminal, let's say, used for criminal activities. And in the same time, the dollar is used 90% of the time. But no. You focus on Bitcoin. Forget about the green toilet paper, right? Okay. So let's see what happened now. Practically, this is where we came. So first they ignore you, these kids in the basement, whatever, playing money, Monopoly, something like that. Then they laugh at you. Let's not forget, like, when they asked Larry Fink, another interview 2020, are there any clients, is somebody asking for internet? Because at the end of the day, let's not forget that Larry Fink is a overpriced salesman. He's selling capital. He's selling you stocks in Microsoft, stocks in whatever, etc., etc. Or minerals in Ukraine, now they're popular. I can see they're selling them also. So in this case, what we can see is we are coming to the point that they try to fight you. We were talking about 2021, 2022, bans, how we can forbid this. Let's not forget, China still has a ban over crypto and Bitcoin. But in the same time, in Hong Kong is legal. And let's not forget that Hong Kong is part of China. So this is like having your cake and eating it too. Well done, China, I have to say, well done. Now we're coming to the point that practically you win. That's it. We won. The moment that president started talking about Bitcoin reserve, we won. Now it's just the moment that we come to the point to share the spoils. Just unfortunately, to share the spoils with the big boys. That's the problem. That's why today we are at, what, 84,000? Welcome to the big boys game. One thing that everybody forgot when the institutions came into the market is that these are also the biggest manipulators in the world. We were so happy BlackRock is putting money in Bitcoin. This is going to go only up. Yes, true. At the end of the day, long term is the upper right corner. But short term, we are forgetting that these guys are the ones that break and make markets every day. So get used to this is going to be rough, let me tell you. Now, what happened at the end? Can you crack it? No, obviously. Even the best technology, the one that they invented like a week ago with 1 million qubits, it's 13 times less, let's say, what you need to actually be able to attack Bitcoin as it is. Can you ban it? Good luck. The wet dreams of every government. Good luck. Can you attack it? As we were saying, there is nothing like human greed to keep something safe. Human greed keeps all these big capital like gold, like silver, like all these most important things that currently we're investing in. The greed is the one keeping it safe. As I said, nobody will dare go against the algorithm of Bitcoin because you know what? You're actually doing a misfortune for yourself. You're going to lose your capital at the end, right? Can you change it? No. There was one guy I will never forget, one fossil, like literal fossil, like I don't know, 80 something, still a congressman for some reason, but okay, welcome to the biggest democracy in the world. He says, no, this is not acceptable. Until we can reverse the transactions of Bitcoin, this cannot be accepted. Well done, Grandpa. Boomer, go home. But anyway, they will try. They will say, you know what, this is unacceptable. How do you mean this is immutable? How it cannot be reversed? So what we're going to do when these people start sending money and they're not telling us that they're sending money? They're not telling us that, wait, we didn't tax this? How are we going to, as the Mr. Crypto Evangelist was saying, how are we going to stop these people from actually sending help in Gaza when we actually need to exterminate these people? And now somebody is finding a way to help them. Imagine, hey, I mean, 21st century, it's just, how can you allow these things, right? So, can you destroy it from inside, as we were saying? Unfortunately, you cannot. Now we're coming to the interesting point. Let's see what is war. This is a bit of an economy, but trust me, you're going to like it, because at the end of the day, it's going to explain to you who is paying for all these wars. Unfortunately, you're not going to like the answer, but if you don't know the answer, then you will definitely not know why is it important for us to actually adopt Bitcoin. As I was saying, this I said before for the banks, I'm going to say it now for the countries. Bitcoin will do to the governments what Limp Bizkit did to the music industry in the 90s. Now, who knows Limp Bizkit? They know what I'm talking about. Now, these guys, I have to say, Ford, Mr. Ford, is one of the best, let's say, in that case, scientist, industrialist, you name it how you like it. At that time, Henry Ford actually built the brand Ford. They're most known for their automotives, like they have a lot of cars. To this day, they still have practically one of the biggest pieces of automotive industry in America. Now, very important. This guy, in 1927, believe it or not, had the right idea, but not the right technology. I have to say, ahead of his time. I was literally surprised. This is one of my first discoveries in the crypto industry when I actually learned about what he wanted to accomplish. So he said like this: Ford would replace gold with energy currency and stop wars. This is in the same time that gold standard was still around. 1927, in the 30s, they stopped the gold standard. Again, democracy, but you cannot keep your gold home. You need to bring it to the bank. We'll give you a toilet paper written how much gold you have. Don't worry. It's safe. In Fort Knox, we'll see now. In 2 weeks, right? In 2 weeks, we'll see how safe it was, the gold in America. Now, the idea is, he says like this: instead of us tying the currency to gold, let's tie it to something else. Let's tie it to something like energy. And he explained it very nicely, I have to say. He said like this: imagine a dam. Let's say this city needs to have a dam. Now, instead of, let's say, the government go and ask for some money or, I don't know, print some money, etc., he says, why we don't allow the dam to pay for itself? We're going to build it, and then once we build it, guess what? The dam itself is an economical product, right? It produces energy. So he says like this, once we actually build it, let's say we are going to take the loan and we're going to build it. The moment the dam starts working, everybody that actually has electricity from the dam, they pay for this, right? Which means you literally produced money. The dam itself produced currency. And now this currency can be used to pay for everything that it was practically costing to build the dam. He says, what if we actually start doing like that? Instead of printing money or covering the money with gold, we are going to use any kind of energy to cover the currency. So you can have enough currency as much as you have energy. Anytime you produce energy, you practically trade this for a new, let's say, unit from this currency, which was ingenious. But again, all the ingenious ideas, unfortunately, when they're said in the right time, they're finishing very wrong. Do you remember somebody saying, still goes around, right? He was aware, yeah, the sun goes around, the earth goes around the sun, but he said it in the very wrong time in front of very wrong people. Again, very democratic, the Catholic Church. I love these guys. Anyway, the idea is, aside from the fact that he came up with the best currency in the world that now we have, he came up with something else. He says like this, do you want to know the cause of war? It's capitalism. No, not socialism, believe it or not. No. Not the Chinese. It's capitalism, greed, and dirty hunger for dollars. Maybe you should say rubles? No? Dollars? Okay. Take away the capitalists and you will sweep war from the earth. Okay. And then he says like this, show me who makes a profit from war and I will show you how to stop the war. So let's do that. Let's see who actually makes profit from war. Let's see where is this, let's say, evil coming from, right? Okay. So over here we have 3 charts. They are 2023, 2022, and 2021 charts of the biggest revenue makers in toys that kill people. As we can see, first absolute champion, decades behind. There was no war that was not sponsored by your dearest Lockheed Martin. There is an interesting thing. You know Robin Williams, the comedian? He had one very, very interesting thought. He said like this, politicians on their suits, they should wear the logo of every company that is paying them. These crackers are paying not 120% of the politicians in America or everywhere else where the war needs to go on, right? And trust me, they are even investing in the next generation. These guys know what they're doing. Now, let's not forget, war industry is everywhere. Every superpower has war industry. So war is a very profitable thing and it's always around. And only the biggest in the world are the ones that are really taking a piece of this cake. Watch this. 64 billion in 1 year. This is how much they actually had revenue only for 1 year. Then as we go down, 44, 40, 35, etc., etc. Next year, 60, 41, 33, 29, etc., etc. Next one, 60. Again, Lockheed Martin. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, imagine how many dead kids are here. Can you imagine how many dead kids are in this? 60 billion in 2022. I can even tell you the nationality of these kids. Believe it or not. Now, the interesting part of all this, show me who makes the profit. But again, you are not able to make the profit without somebody actually helping you to do that. Why? Lockheed Martin cannot decide to wage a war. Lockheed Martin cannot discuss with the government, listen, let us sell you like 10,000 tanks, 5,000 helicopters. Somebody needs to do that, right? Let's see who does it. And let's see who actually has a profit out of it. This is also very important. So the top 4 producers that I want to discuss today are Lockheed Martin, Raytheon Technologies, Northrop, and General Dynamics. I'm not going to take Boeing, because Boeing itself has a lot of, let's say, civilian products. But these 4, without Boeing, are actually the companies exclusively for, as I was saying, toys that kill people. Let's see how much profit they made in the last, let's say, decade, and let's see when they made the profit. As I was saying, Lockheed Martin, my favorite. Look at this surprise. They managed to start making a lot of, let's say, gains the first moment when there was an actual war in Ukraine. And then we actually have a very nice boost when we had the second part of the war in 2022. And guess what? The moment that the profit started dropping, watch this. Hamas attack. Like they knew. Like Hamas is working for somebody. Unbelievable. I mean, like these people are planning or something. Same situation here. So all this, doesn't matter how they're called. Look at this. Amazing. The moment the war starts, pump. The moment the second one starts, pump. The moment something dumps like here, let's invent something. Let's find somewhere somebody to die because guess what? We are not selling enough, right? So obviously, who is buying the stocks of these companies? Who do you think? Do you know who is the best trader in the world? Who is the best trader in the world? Now everybody will say, you know, this billionaire, that billionaire. Believe it or not, no. Nancy Pelosi. Do you know who is Nancy Pelosi? Do you know? Anybody, please, raise your hand who knows? Okay. Guess how she knows what to buy and when? Guess how? Guess how the Speaker of the Congress of Murica knows how to buy, what to buy, and when. Amazing. The best trader in the world. There is an actual, believe it or not, there is an actual group of people that mimic whatever she buys. I wonder why. Like she knows something we don't. Anyway, let's get to the best part. Now, this part you're gonna love. Let's see who actually pays for this. Now, don't forget that all these dogs of war, somebody needs to engage them. Somebody needs to get them to produce something that we need to send over the other side of the world and kill some people. So somebody needs to do this, right? Let's see who does it and how much we're actually paying for it. This is the best part. Now we have the military budget of America, Russia, and China. The biggest three superpowers in the world. Let's be honest, that's the situation. Now look at the statistics. In 2024, they had a revenue of $5 trillion. In the same time, they had almost 7 trillion of budget, practically, expenditures that they have for the country itself. Now, where is the problem here? They have at least 1 trillion of deficit every year. On top of that, they have 36.5 at this day, currently, $36.5 trillion of debt. And let's not forget, they're paying 1 trillion per year interest on this debt. So they are actually paying from this 5 trillion, 1/4, 1 trillion, right? They're paying only for the interest. So over here, instead of 5, you have 4. So now the deficit is not 1.8, now it's 2.8, right? And the best part, watch this now. And they're paying an amazing above 800 billion for budget of defense. You know what is this budget of defense? You know where it's going, right? You know who is getting this money, right? Okay. Except for the soldiers, the biggest part of this goes to this cake here. These guys are like NASDAQ drivers. Like definitely, they need to have all the logos, my friend. So let's see the other ones. These are not the only ones. So we have practically from 7 trillion, 1 trillion goes only for war. Do you think that somebody in America actually wants this? Do you think that people are going around saying, you know what, who are we going to kill next? But somehow they managed to wage 25 wars in the last 30 years. Most of these people in America, they cannot find the countries on the map where they're bombing, like our friend from Serbia what was bombed, right? But not only, let's not forget, they are like a rock band on a world tour. Who we gonna fuck up next? This one. Literally. Now, the best part, let's not forget, is not only one. There is everybody else. Russia. They have a budget of 357. And they're wasting around 80 of this billion on, again, what? Defense spending. How much is this? Around 20%. 20%, 20%. Same goes for the Chinese. Everybody's in the same game. They have a budget of around 1.6 trillion. They're spending around 300 billion. Again, how much? 20%, around 20%. Which means 20% of the budget and a lot more of what they're making during the year, because again, this budget needs to be filled from somewhere, right? How do we fill it? With taxes. Who pays the taxes? You guys. So who is paying this money to Lockheed Martin? Guess who is paying them, right? So the problem is that part of this money are paid from you. And nobody is asking you, guys, do you want to pay for the tanks in Ukraine? Do you want to pay for the enormous amount of bombs we're throwing on Gaza? Nobody's asking you, right? They're just telling you, we need to bring some democracy over there. Guys, they don't have enough democracy. Every time you need to bring democracy, somehow there is trillions spent on weapons. Unfortunately, in this world, only way to actually bring democracy is with weapons. Look at this. The chart of democracy, I call it. Look at this nice jump over here from 2011 to 2023. In 2011, our biggest democracy in the world, yes, please.
But do you think this is natural occurrence or it's all manipulation?
You tell me.
I think it's all manipulation.
Obviously. You know why?
What about the money which what about the black operations? That's where the
Yes, but I'm showing you what is public. We're not gonna go, you know how? This I can prove. Everything else is, a question mark. But this I can prove. These are actual charts. This is something everybody can check, right? So we're not even gonna go into that point. This is even worse. But again, look how profitable this is. Like, it's very profitable for traditional finance. In the last decade to make 327%, not bad at all. Look at this. Amazing. 100, 350, 200%. Something that in the traditional finance is practically almost impossible to get. But guess what? No problem. As I was saying, look at this. Very nice jump. This 2011 is actually the war on terror. They managed to fight 5 countries in this decade. Only in the Middle East. We're not even going to go into the other ones. But again, we're not going to talk about geopolitics. No, we're going to keep to the numbers. Now let's see where is the other half of this money coming from. The first half is provided, ladies and gentlemen, by you. The second one, because they do not have enough. As you can see, every one of these countries, believe it or not, has a deficit, which means their debt is growing every year. And guess what? The only way for them to cover this deficit is this magical thing. You know this guy? Another one of my favorites, Mr. Brrr, exactly. When you say Brrr, they know who it is. You don't even need to pronounce him. That's the guy with the biggest money printer in the world. Now look at this very nice curve. No, guys, this is not Dogecoin. No. This is not Shiba. No. This is not Pepe. This is not a meme coin. No. This is the actual reserve currency of the world. Believe it or not. And they're printing it like there is no tomorrow. Why they're doing this? Because by devaluating your practically currency, you can print more of it. Who is paying for this? So the first time you're paying through your taxes, and the second time you're paying through your capital. So practically what happens is they're devaluating your savings to, guess what? Pay Lockheed Martin, because there are still some children left in Gaza that are not killed. Imagine. Now, don't worry. They're not the only ones. Don't worry. Look at this nice curve. Again, we're not talking about any meme coin. We're talking about the money supply of rubles in Russia. Same goes for China and their renminbi. And guess what? There is no country in the world that does not have the same chart, literally the same chart. So what it means, every country is devaluating their currency, charging it from you guys, and they're saying, oh, you know what? But inflation of 2% is completely normal. Wait. Who, in which country, said, you know what, guys? Let's allow the government inflate the currency for 2% every year, and we're going to lose 2% of our purchasing power every year. And the worst part of it, so you know how there is a lot of people out in the world that still don't understand why when they get to retirement, their retirement is worth for shit. I'm sorry about this, but unfortunately, as I was saying, this is a very serious subject. So you have been working for 40 years, and at the end of the day, you cannot even cover the electricity bill. You know why? Because you've been paying by standard 40 years ago. And the standard goes up, your wages, unfortunately, they don't. Even if they do not correlate, guess what? With this magical line here. So what happens? They inflate your retirement. And when the time comes for you to go retirement, you're thinking, oh my God, now I'm going to be cruising, and I'm going to be doing all my hobbies. And you see what comes into your account, and you're saying to yourself, you know what? We're lucky we have bread and water. So that's why the boomers' time of let's get to retirement is finished. Nobody is even thinking about retirement. Why? Because Mr. Jerome Powell put the printer, my friend, on 6. Don't forget, they need to wage more wars, so they need more money, right? Somebody needs to pay for this. And like, no, wait. This is the best joke ever. So this joke is the one. You know why? Until now, they had to have the approval of all these Congress, let's say, commissions to be able to print more. So practically there was at least some kind of, I would say, control, which is science fiction, but let's say control. So there is a problem, right? You need to actually print this toilet paper, right? It's not only, you cannot just produce it out of thin air. Wait, they can, wait. So they did, so far, in the last, let's say, 7 decades, since they have, this one we forgot. So from the moment they have actually given up the gold standard, they have done an amazing job. Watch this. There is no currency in the world that is not devaluated an amazing 99% of their value, including USD, dollar, euro, Japan yen. Okay, we don't have the rice mark, we know why. But the rest of the currencies, the same fate. 99% of their currency value from 1933 to today, not even 100 years. They have managed to devalue their currency, as I was saying, toilet paper, but in different colors. Some of it is red, some of it is green, etc. And so, since they did so good of a job with the economy so far, they're saying, wait, guys, we have a better joke for you. Now we are going to have a CBDC, central bank digital currency. So far, we have managed to literally like smash you to the ground with the currency, but now we're asking you again to allow us unlimited supply, but now with the touch of a button. So we touch, trillion appears. A magic, right? Imagine that. And who controls this is centralized. This guy with the printer, he doesn't even need to go like this anymore. Just press a button, 1 trillion appears. Magic. He says, opaque monetary policy. Who decides who's gonna print, who's gonna mint, and when? The guy with the printer, again. Risk of seizure, science fiction. Go and then come out and protest against the government. See what happens to your account. Remember what happened to the Canadians? We still didn't have CBDC. Guess what's gonna happen next time? And so we're not gonna go over too much because we know where this is going. The best part is, if they didn't ask you when they were printing, do you think they're gonna ask when they're minting? Can you imagine? You won't even know. One day you wake up, God help you, your savings are gone. Now the best part and the last part. If the country does not control the currency, there will be no war. Very easy. The conclusion is not gonna be long. But I think that you know where this is going, right? So I think that so far I have explained very nicely, we're literally trading monopole money. Monopole, so there is no difference, just a better quality of toilet paper. So it says like this, again, Ford, if we replace the gold with an energy currency, guess what? This cannot be owned by the government. If nothing else, not all of it will be owned by the government. Even better, a lot of it will be owned by who? By everyday people. Watch this. This is called a meme coin. And this is called a rational monetary system where you have a limited supply. You cannot print, my friend. You cannot attack it. You cannot ban it. Guess what? You have no choice but to what? Accept it. You know why? Because at the end of the day, as our Mr. Apostle said here, you cannot tell me where to send. You cannot tell me to who to send. You cannot even take it from me. Even with a gun on my head, if I don't give you the 25 words, you're not going to take it. If I don't know them, then I'm fucked. But still. And as the ending approaches, I just want to read this out for you because this is the best part. Imagine an economy run by a decentralized currency. So imagine the opposite of this, right? Imagine a government having to collect fair amount of this currency through taxes, depending on how they perform, since they cannot print or force it out of you. Now, this is dystopia. This is how it's supposed to be. Imagine governments that must ask you to fund any state initiative larger than the amount collected by taxes. Why? Because they cannot print it. They need to ask you, we want to build a dam. Can you please lend us some money? Then they need to be responsible. They have no other choice. And the best part, imagine if any global conflict, war, has to be approved and funded directly from the people instead of waging war and charging it on your population through the devaluation of your own currency. So you need to decide if there needs to be war. Why? Because you need to give your own currency. They cannot print more. And you know what's going to happen then? No war. Nobody wants a war. Nobody will pay for a war, no matter how much they are going and screaming out of this BBC, CNN, whatever. I am not gonna pay you for war, period. So guys, like it or not, this is the only way. If the monetary system of the world is Bitcoin, there will be no wars. There is no way. How? When they're gonna persuade me to give them my Bitcoin to wage a war? Never. Thank you guys. I think that, sorry, a little bit, you know, how, from my heart. This was it from my heart. Sorry?
Who is they?
The ones around the planet. They have everything. Everything they have.
How do they have
And
the Bitcoin?
this is their creation. What do you think? That this is human creation? Do you honestly think that Bitcoin is for the people? Bitcoin is their toy. One more of their toys.
Can I
To
answer?
enslave us further in this present planet.
Can I answer? Okay. So let's take the example of our apostle here, right? How else you gonna help these people in Gaza? We are watching genocide on TV. Period. Do you think that America controls this thing? They're gonna allow you to send to Gaza help? Think about it. Do you think? Because I know this is the idea that FBI or CIA created this algorithm and now they're practically just waiting for the time to control it, if I understand correctly, right? So who owns it? As you can see, Bitcoin is the most decentralized thing in the world. Even BlackRock does not own it. Their clients own it. So BlackRock cannot tell the clients what to do with it. BlackRock owns a big amount of Bitcoin. Yes, true. But not BlackRock. His clients do.
So they don't need to create a war because they have the vast majority of the people.
Who has? Who?
The richest people in the world, they already have
But you're not going to take the money from
large amounts of cryptocurrency, so they don't need to print in order to create a war. And there will always be a war. If it was not be a war with bombs and whatever, it will be a digital war, as in sending us, as when they send the coronavirus
Again, I understand
to
you.
us.
Do you think that you're going to persuade a billionaire to give you his crypto to kill Palestinians?
Sorry. Then they have to
But
pay
who?
out of
Who?
their own
It's transparent. You can
pocket.
see it. Again, listen to me. The best part about this technology is it's transparent. We can see who has it. The moment that they touch it, we know. How, for example, now we know that Murica has 200,000 Bitcoins. How do we know it? Because we know the wallet. And whenever they move it, we know it's them, right? Because that's it. It's transparent. You cannot hide it, unfortunately. So if, believe me, the big people had it, the small people would know. There is a lot of people which are very tech savvy, not me obviously, which will actually track down and say, you know what? This guy owns this much currency and he has control over, let's say, 15% of the currency, right? But they didn't because there is nothing to find. They don't have it. You understand my point? If they did, they would have found it out. You understand my point? How they know that Germany has 50,000 Bitcoin before they sold it? How do they know? It's transparent.
The black operations, not even Trump.
The black operation is 1%
The government
of
is
the whole
going to
market,
take
not
back
even.
the microphone for now. We're gonna go to the next question.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for your energy and your good explanation. I pass on to the next question.
Thank you, thank you.
I know. Thank you. Yes, thanks. I mean, I share the passion. And just going back to the slide that you were showing who is financing, I think if you compare now these four economies, we can predict where the next four will be. And I would recommend everyone to listen to the speech which was 5 days ago of the US Administrative in the EU Parliament, Jeffrey Sachs, who actually said, let's finish this war in Ukraine because we need to move to another one. And openly, without really, and also said like explanation, yeah, what's happening in Gaza. We said like, we just because we could bomb Belgrade for 72 days and listen to this. It's very, very, like, how to say, showing what's going to happen next. So, I mean, openly also insulted Europe and Europeans, but okay, I mean, deservedly, I would say. So
True, true,
to
true.
do this.
I
I,
agree.
mean, listen. What I wanted to say is that people do not understand. I think, and yes, we are financing the war, and yes, we had a referendum on war, and people were manipulated, and we know that we are manipulated, and this is now not even hidden. You know, like Trump is coming, U.S. administrative is coming. It's manipulation. Meloni had a speech 3 days ago. Like mass media is manipulative. Yes. But people do not understand the difference between manipulation and indoctrination. So the problem is that people are indoctrinated. We all know that we are manipulated. So question yourself, you know, like the whole system of knowledge, everything we know is coming from the educational system. And by the classification, the history is in any educational system in the Western world not classified as a science. So history is not the science. You are indoctrinated, not manipulated.
True, I agree with everything. Only thing I would say is, they manipulated you once. They said vote for, no, wait, listen. They said vote for war, right? Let's say that same goes in the same situation, monetary system of Bitcoin. They say, you know what? These guys, we need to kill them all. Okay, so one time they manipulated you, and what happens now? The whole economical system of the world currently is in the shitter. You know why? Because of this war. Wait, let me finish. So the best part, what it is, can they manipulate you again? If you voted yes, second time when you go, will you vote yes again?
You will vote.
No, you won't. But listen. This is not a referendum. They are asking you for your Bitcoin. You're not going to give it to them, right? There is no war, period. But again, that's the solution, right? I'm from practically your country. You think that I don't know this?
No, I mean, I know we are
Step by step, right? We need to get baby steps.
I'm just sharing the awareness.
True.
Okay, so thank you for the presentation once again and for your energy. I love all the effort.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Fight Club. First rule of Fight Club. You always talk about Fight Club. If they don't know about this, what then, right? We need to talk about it. Tell me.
Yes, my question would be around the fact that I think we are currently aware that, for instance, large terror organizations already do a lot of arms trading and illegal trading with Bitcoin and crypto. And I think it's already confirmed that Hamas has a very large crypto reserve. So what I can see right now is that these large arms dealers are already doing black and illegal trade using crypto and Bitcoin. So what I'm seeing right now is not that having all decentralized networks and crypto in place would enable the stopping of wars. What I'm seeing right now is that these are enabling the wars itself, as big terror organizations can trade using crypto very easily, without easy to cross borders. Previously, they would have had to carry large amounts of cash, or that they would have to then pay taxes on, or bank transfers were incredibly hard. Nowadays, large terror organizations and arm dealers can just send using Bitcoin or cryptocurrency to anywhere, you know, crossing borders and anything.
Yeah, but do you know how big is this amount? Have you ever checked? No, I know the
Yes,
story.
yes.
It's very
Yeah,
scary.
yeah.
All the Alibabas, these guys, you know, wrapped up, they're only buying guns with Bitcoin, with nothing else. Let's not
Yeah, yeah.
forget. No, you know how much it is? Less than
Yes,
1%.
what?
Chainalysis. So listen. No. Listen, it's not me. I didn't do this. And you, unfortunately, do you have any facts, like any statistics?
Yeah, I do not have them right now, but what I...
So I have them. Can I tell
Yeah,
you?
but-
Chainalysis in 2023 says only 0.5% of all the transactions on the Bitcoin network were used for illegal activity. Do you know how many transactions in dollars are illegal activities? Do you know? I can tell you. I mean,
But listen,
you
if
know
it-
how many? 99%. So do you think that this 1% of all the transactions is enough to actually cancel this technology?
No, in my opinion, the reason why we don't know this amount is because it's illegal trade and black trade. If it wasn't black trade, we would know about it.
Okay.
But if it...
Do you know how many wallets they froze of Hamas? Second side that I do on my channel is geopolitics. Do you know how many?
No, I don't know exactly.
Shitload. So next time, take the whole question, check the whole statistics, and we can talk. You know why? Because Binance, Kraken, Coinbase, all the centralized exchanges, we're blocking every, as our apostles would say,
Yeah.
not only Hamas, all the Palestinians. Because you never know, they might all be terrorists, right? All these kids of 12, they for sure are terrorists, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that
Yeah.
there is ways to minimize this. You understand? I get it. That's true. Which currency is not used by criminals? Tell me one.
I would say that most fiat currencies, since there is taxation, it's limiting black trade
But
as much as
everything.
possible.
For
So I would say,
criminals would use anything.
in my opinion, as it's very hard to send cash from one country to another, I would say that crypto is enabling lots of illegal trade because it's so easy to transfer. I would say that
0.5%, bro.
But the reason why we call this black trade is because we don't know about it.
What
If we
is-
kn-
No,
if
no,
we
no,
knew
no, no, no,
about
no,
it,
no. Wait.
If
What
it
was
was
the answer?
uncovered, it wasn't black
But
trade.
it's transparent, mate. How do you mean you don't know about it? It's transparent. You can see all the transactions. Guess you know which one you cannot know?
Yeah.
The actual toilet paper of color. For that one, you don't know how much they're using in criminal activities, and they're saying approximately 5 trillion were used in criminal activities. You know why? Because you cannot trace it. But Bitcoin, blockchain, you can trace. How do they catch all these hackers?
Yeah, but on the other hand, my next question would be,
This is not a question. We have the question. Say it really quickly because we have.
okay, all right.
worry, we'll talk after.
So you talked about the fact that they can freeze terrorist accounts and anybody's accounts. Is it not going to affect the small people if they can freeze anybody's accounts?
Yes, he said so. They literally took their Bitcoin. Thank you, Israel. Democracy.
Okay,
Like this.
Guys, we're a little bit over time, so there's.
Thank
three
you,
more-
guys. I really appreciate it. Somebody else?
No, there's three more. There's three more comments.
Anybody, no problem. Bring it on.
Very, very quick questions. Very quick answers. Let's go.
I would like just to add on this because there was a recent case, we are all aware, the Bybit case. So it's just a confirmation that you can trace, it's fully transparent because there are all crypto investigations for now chasing and going after the money stolen by the Lazarus group. And everyone knows now what happened, who was. They connected the stealing of the funds, yes, almost 2 trillions.
1.5 billion.
Okay, something like that. A lot of money, yes, but they know everything because in a few days they were able to understand who was, and there are graphics on, if you check on LinkedIn, you will see there are so many investigators, all the biggest investigators, chain analysis, elliptic, everyone are going after the funds. But they already know almost everything, and they know that it's linked to North Korea. So just to confirm that it's really transparent. And there was a community, now there is at the moment a community working 24/7 just to go after the money, and there were a lot of wallets already frozen. So that's something that can be done. Sorry if it wasn't a question.
No,
but
it's
just
perfect.
to-
Try
Okay.
doing this to cash.
Thanks a lot. Second last question here.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. I liked it that you're not afraid to think very big and large. It's a kind of final stage of something we might be heading to. And in this ideal world where everything might go over Bitcoin so that big governments are handcuffed using the money as they want. It's a long transition to that, and even spreading the idea is a very good point, but I would like to see maybe a roadmap in your presentation also, just to keep this idea going on. What is the path to this?
Trump said we're doing a Bitcoin reserve. 1 week after, Putin said we're doing a Bitcoin reserve. Few weeks after, Poland said we're doing Bitcoin reserve. Next one was Czech Republic, we're doing a Bitcoin reserve. Do we need to go on with the roadmap? It's enough for now.
There you have it.
I
That's
mean,
the
you
way
have
to
on a
have
state
it.
level, right?
Last question or comment here, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, the question, was. But first of all, I would say, if you
me.
want really to understand this subject, the topic you explained today, to read the Fiat Standard by Seth Anonymous. It's amazing. The only thing I appreciate your speech
Thank
as
you.
usual, very, dynamic. The only thing I didn't like and I think it was out of place, was the comment by Henry Ford.
Why?
Capitalism, the greed. Actually, before that, you said the greed is what keeping Bitcoin, you know. So, all right. Capitalism, I don't know what's your definition of capitalism, but I had a speech last week. I don't know, you were in that.
Yes, I saw it.
Were you here?
No, unfortunately no.
All right, because I care about this subject, because I spent the last 25 years of my life trying to explain this thing. The system we're living in is not capitalism.
Okay, true.
When there's fiat money at the center of the economic system, it's not capitalism. It's not capitalism. So Henry Ford also said something, we need an energy currency. Gold is not good. Actually, gold was an energy currency because Bitcoin is based on gold with the mining concept and everything. The problem was, and that explained very well in the fiat standard, that gold was a physical thing. You could wage a war with a country, go and get the gold, right? With Bitcoin, there's nothing to get. That's why Bitcoin is even better than gold. But gold was a very good approximation for a very good money. And yeah, capitalism, we're not living in a capitalist system. Capitalism is accumulate capital in capital goods to create more and more goods and services, as I explained the last time. So that's the only thing I didn't appreciate. It was a small critic, because I don't like people talking bad about capitalism when capitalism is the only thing that raised humanity out of misery and poverty, death and starvation. Socialism, on the contrary, brought millions of people to starvation, misery and death.
True.
And that has to be explained because, you know, we live in a socialist. Milei, the president of Argentina, said we've been living in 50 shades of socialism in every country in the world. And that's why we are in this fucking situation with these wars. They are allowed only by fiat currency. Bitcoin is not fiat. Bitcoin is sound money, as I explained the last time.
Yeah, true. Eat the rich, exactly. But let me ask you something. What do you think this is?
Those companies are financed by fiat money. Only by fiat money.
What is this? Is this the price of the stock?
Yeah.
Okay, what is stock? Is it money? No. Stock is what? Is it capital?
Believe. It's an investment in a company.
Okay.
It's a
Share of the company. Share. So you just told me that you need to accumulate actual goods, right?
yeah.
So if you...
Company, they can accumulate.
But can I answer?
Invest in capital.
Okay.
They finance more because we live in a fiat system.
Again, do you own part of
No, I don't.
Lockheed Martin?
Principle. I don't know those companies. Even
But not you. Capitalist. Any capitalist in the world. He owns part of Lockheed Martin.
of course.
Is this capitalism? So. Listen. But let me answer. So, if your share that you bought in Lockheed Martin is raising in price because there is a war somewhere, are you a capitalist? Because you own share of the company and this share is more and more in value. It's okay. We're here to listen. That's how we learn. I appreciate, but that's how we learn. Of course. Guys, thank you very much. I really appreciate you all. Thank you for coming and thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Antonio. From now on, no more capitalism. That's it. Capitalism is over. We are going to be here again next week talking about AI in China by an expert who's been there many times. So hope to see you there. And let's discuss at the bar with Antonio. Thank you very much.
you mention one more, two more. That's it, like this, go away. Go, yeah, give me the microphone. Go ahead. Listen.